From the outside, my life with Emily looked flawless. A successful marriage built on love, trust, and shared goals. I was a dedicated entrepreneur, a man who believed in loyalty and honesty. Emily, on the other hand, thrived in social circles, effortlessly charming everyone with her wit and elegance. Our two kids, Ava and Lucas, were spending the summer with my parents, giving Emily and me a rare opportunity to reconnect. When she suggested a vacation, I thought it was the perfect chance to rekindle our bond. Just the two of us, she had said with that dazzling smile. A chance to relax and unwind together. I trusted her completely. She took charge of everything, researching resorts, booking flights, and even planning spa days. She wanted this to be special, and I wanted to believe it was her way of showing she still cared. But deep down, something felt off. Her enthusiasm seemed rehearsed, her insistence on handling every detail unusually firm. I ignored the feeling, convincing myself that I was just overthinking things. After all, she was right. We deserved this break. I had no idea what was coming. The morning of our trip, Emily was buzzing with excitement, packing with a level of precision that made me chuckle. You sure you packed enough? I joked, eyeing the multiple suitcases she had lined up. She laughed lightly. You know me, always prepared. At the airport, I finally allowed myself to relax. Maybe this trip was exactly what we needed. Emily looked stunning, confident, like the woman I had fallen in love with. I reminded myself why I trusted her, why I believed in us. The flight was smooth. Emily spent most of it scrolling through her phone, occasionally glancing at me with a distracted smile. I didn't mind. I was too busy picturing the quiet beaches and peaceful nights ahead. When we landed, the resort was breathtaking. A luxury paradise right out of a travel magazine. This is perfect, Emily gushed, gripping my arm as we walked through the grand entrance. I smiled, feeling a sense of optimism for the first time in a while. Maybe this trip really would bring us closer. That's when I heard Emily's excited voice call out, Oh my God. Look who's here. I turned, confused. 3 women were making their way toward us, dressed in designer outfits, sunglasses perched on their heads like they had just stepped out of a reality show. What? I started, but before I could finish, Emily was already hugging them. David, you remember Jenna, Brooke, and Ashley, right? She asked, beaming. I barely recognized them. I had seen them at a few social gatherings Emily had dragged me to, but I never thought they were close enough to vacation with. Wait, I said slowly. They're staying here too? Emily gave me a dazzling smile, slipping her arm through mine. Isn't it amazing? It's going to be so much fun. Fun, right? I stood there, watching her giggle with her friends, realization slowly sinking in. This wasn't a romantic getaway. This was something else entirely. As Emily and her friends chatted away, I stood there, still processing what had just happened. You didn't mention they'd be here, I said, keeping my voice calm. Emily waved a hand dismissively. I wanted it to be a surprise. Besides, it's not like we're attached at the hip. You'll have fun too, babe. Her friends smiled at me, their perfectly whitened teeth gleaming under the resort's golden lights. Oh, David, you're such a trooper, Jenna said, patting my arm condescendingly. Most guys would kill to be on a trip like this. Yeah, Brooke chimed in. Emily told us how you've been working nonstop. You deserve a break, even if she had to drag you here. They all laughed. Emily didn't correct them. She just smirked, as if they weren't making me sound like a clueless husband lucky to be included. Something felt wrong. We made our way to the lobby seating area, where cocktails and appetizers were already waiting. I sat back, listening as they launched into conversations about designer brands, exclusive parties, and people I had never heard of. Every time I tried to join in, my words were either brushed aside or met with polite indifference. I was an outsider in my own vacation. Then came the first real jab. David, you're so lucky Emily handles everything, Ashley said, swirling her drink. Can you imagine if you had to plan something like this yourself? Jenna laughed. Oh, please. We all know Emily is the real powerhouse. Running the house, keeping up with us, and still managing you. I forced a smile, but inside, something twisted. Emily didn't defend me. Instead, she raised her glass. Well, she said playfully, someone has to keep things running. David's got his business, but I'm the glue that holds everything together. The women cheered, toasting to Emily's brilliance. I took a slow sip of my drink, letting the comment sink in. She didn't say we were a team. She didn't say she and I balanced each other. No. She made it sound like I was just another task on her to-do list. But the worst part? This was only the beginning. After what felt like an eternity of forced smiles and subtle insults, I was ready to escape to our room. At least there, I could get a moment of peace. We walked to the front desk, Emily still chatting with Jenna while I focused on checking in. Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. Carter. The receptionist greeted us with a polite smile. Your party's rooms are ready. My party's rooms? Confused, I glanced at the receptionist as she handed over several key cards, all under my name. There must be a mistake, I said, my voice calm but firm. I only booked one room. The receptionist hesitated, then glanced at Emily. Emily leaned in smoothly, placing a manicured hand on my arm. Oh, babe, I took care of everything, she said sweetly. It was just easier this way. Easier how? I asked, feeling the heat rise in my chest. She handed me one key. Here's your room, she said casually. I'll be staying with Jenna tonight. We have so much to catch up on. The words hit me like a slap. I looked at her, waiting for her to say she was joking. But she wasn't. Ashley chuckled. She needs her space, David. Don't take it personally. They all laughed, sipping their overpriced cocktails like this was completely normal. We reserved rooms only for the elites, Jenna added with a smirk. I clenched my jaw, looking down at the key in my hand. This wasn't a vacation for us. This was her trip, her party, her show. And I was just the guy footing the bill. I took a deep breath, my mind racing. I could call her out right there. I could start an argument, demand an explanation. But no. Instead, I simply slipped the key into my pocket and said, enjoy your evening. Then, without another word, I turned and walked away. Let her laugh now. She wouldn't be laughing for long. I walked out of the lobby into the cool evening air, Emily's laughter still ringing in my ears. I took a deep breath, steadying myself. I wasn't the type to cause a scene. But this wasn't just disrespect. This was planned. Emily had set this up from the start. She never intended this to be a romantic getaway. She had used me, used my trust, my money to fund a girl's trip, and she didn't even have the decency to tell me. Fine. She wanted to treat me like an afterthought? Like a wallet? She was about to find out what happened when the wallet closed. I went back inside and walked straight to the front desk. Mr. Carter, is there something we can assist you with? The receptionist asked politely. Yes, I said, keeping my voice calm. I'd like to see a breakdown of all the rooms booked under my name. Her fingers tapped on the keyboard for a few seconds before she looked up. Of course, sir. You have 4 rooms. I already knew the answer, but hearing it confirmed sent a fresh wave of anger through me. And all of them were charged to my card? Yes, sir. I nodded slowly. Right? I'd like to make some changes. The receptionist hesitated. Changes, sir? I pulled out my phone, opened my banking app, and with a few taps, canceled every credit card Emily had access to. Then, I looked back at the receptionist. Cancel every room except for mine, I said smoothly. Her eyes widened. Excuse me. You heard me. I smiled. I'm no longer covering those charges. Let my wife and her friends figure it out. She hesitated. Sir, that might. Is there a problem? I asked, my tone polite but firm. She glanced at the screen, then nodded. No, sir. I'll take care of it right away. I turned and headed for the elevators, a small smirk forming on my lips. Let's see how Emily enjoyed her elites-only vacation now. The next morning, I woke up feeling lighter than I had in years. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't second-guessing myself. I wasn't bending over backward to keep Emily happy. I was done playing the fool. I took my time getting dressed, enjoying the luxury of a quiet morning. No nagging. No passive-aggressive remarks. Just peace. Then, I got the first notification. Declined transaction. $350. Luxury spot treatment. I smirked. Then another. Declined transaction. $120. Poolside cocktails. And another. Declined transaction. $1,100. Private yacht rental. I could see it in my head. Emily, confidently handing over the card, expecting everything to be covered. Then the awkward pause. The confused look on the waiter's face. The murmured apologies. Then panic. I didn't have to wait long for the fallout. Barely an hour later, my phone started buzzing. Emily. I let it ring. Then again. And again. Finally, I picked up, putting on my best indifferent tone. Morning. David. What the hell is going on? She snapped. I sipped my coffee. What do you mean? My card's not working. None of them are. I just tried to book a spa appointment, and they said the payment was declined. I nodded, even though she couldn't see me. Yeah, that makes sense. Silence. Then, more controlled this time, David. What did you do? I leaned back in my chair, watching the waves outside my balcony. I canceled them, Emily. Every last one. You what? Oh, and I canceled your friends' rooms too. If they want to stay, they'll have to pay for it themselves. The silence stretched for so long I thought she had hung up. Then, her voice dropped into a deadly whisper. You're going to fix this. Now. I laughed. A real, genuine laugh. No, Emily. I'm not. I could almost hear her teeth grinding. David. This is humiliating. Good, I said simply. You're being petty, she spat. You could have just talked to me. I shook my head, still smiling. Talk to you? Like how you talked to me about bringing your friends on our romantic getaway. Or how you conveniently forgot to mention that I was paying for everything. You lied, Emily. You played me. And now, you're facing the consequences. I didn't lie. She screeched. I just... didn't think I'd find out? I finished for her. Silence. Then, her voice came out low, desperate. David, please. Just turn the cards back on. We can talk about this later. Don't do this to me. I took a deep breath, savoring this moment. Oh, I'm not doing anything to you, Emily. I'm just finally done letting you do it to me. Then, before she could say another word, I hung up. I sat back, sipping my coffee, watching the waves roll in. Damn, that felt good. Emily wasn't used to this. She wasn't used to losing. For years, she had been in control, manipulating, scheming, always making sure she came out on top. But not this time. This time, she had pushed too far. About an hour later, I got a text from Jenna. WTF, David? Emily says you stranded us? I smirked. Oh, this was getting better by the minute. Stranded? No. I just stopped paying for your vacation. A few minutes later, another call. This time from Brooke. Ignored. Then Ashley. Ignored. I was having way too much fun with this. Meanwhile, at the resort, Emily and her friends were unraveling. After I hung up on her, she had stormed to the front desk, demanding answers. There must be a mistake, she said, flashing the receptionist her best. I'm a rich woman and you should obey me, smile. The woman behind the desk barely blinked. I'm sorry, ma'am, but your reservations were canceled this morning. We'll need a new payment method if you'd like to continue your stay. Jenna frowned. Wait, what? There's no mistake. The receptionist said, glancing at the screen. The cardholder, Mr. Carter, removed his payment authorization. Your rooms are no longer covered. Silence. Ashley's face paled. You mean we have to pay? Ourselves. Emily swallowed hard, gripping the edge of the desk. This is just a misunderstanding, she said, forcing a laugh. I'll talk to David. He'll fix it. Ma'am. The receptionist said patiently. If payment is not provided within the next hour, we'll have to ask you to vacate the rooms. That was the moment reality smashed into Emily's perfectly curated world. She had nothing. No money. No backup plan. No control. And worst of all, her friends were starting to realize it too. Back in my room, I got another text. This time from Jenna. Are you serious right now? You let us book spa days and shopping trips knowing the cards wouldn't work? I let out a short laugh. Did I? Or did Emily let you book spa days and shopping trips assuming she could use MY money? No response. Then, a few minutes later, another call from Emily. Ignored. Then a text. David. Pick up. Now. Ignored. Then, another text. I swear to God, you are being childish. Fix this. I leaned back in my chair, grinning. No. And just like that, I turned off my phone. Let her squirm. She deserved it. Emily was unraveling fast. Jenna Brooke and Ashley had gone from annoyed to furious. Emily, what the hell is going on? Jenna snapped, arms crossed as they stood in the middle of the resort lobby. Emily tried to keep her composure, flashing that fake, confident smile she used when things weren't going her way. It's just a mix-up, okay? David's being dramatic, but I'll fix it. Brooke scoffed. Oh really? Because my spa treatment was just denied, and they told me the card was canceled. Ashley threw up her hands. Same. In my room? They're saying I have to pay for it myself. Emily, tell me you have another card. Emily swallowed hard. Because she didn't. David had cut her off. Completely. And her so-called best friends, they weren't sticking around to suffer with her. Unbelievable. Jenna muttered. You let us spend money thinking you had it covered? You knew this was your husband's card the whole time, didn't you? Emily started, but Brooke cut her off. Oh my God. You don't have anything, do you? The realization hit them all at once. Emily had nothing. No personal credit card. No secret stash of cash. Nothing. You're pathetic, Ashley sneered. All that talk about being independent, about knowing the right people. But in the end, you were just living off David the whole time. Emily's face burned. The same friends who had once worshipped her were now mocking her. And the worst part? They were right. I was having a great day. After turning off my phone, I treated myself to a long breakfast, a walk on the beach, and even a relaxing swim. No stress, no drama, just peace. Then, around noon, I turned my phone back on, just in time to watch everything burn. Dozens of missed calls, even more texts. Emily, Jenna, Brooke, even the resort had tried calling. But the best one? A notification from my banking app. Transaction attempted. $3,200, resort fees. Status, declined. I let out a low whistle. She really thought she could still use my money. Not anymore. Emily was out of options. The resort staff had been patient, but patience had a limit. A polite, yet firm, hotel manager approached her. Mrs. Carter, we've given you ample time to resolve your balance. If payment is not made within the next 30 minutes, we will have to involve the authorities. Emily froze. Authorities? Brooke took a step back. Oh hell no. I am not getting involved in this mess. Jenna grabbed her suitcase. Same. Emily, figure your own crap out. One by one her friends abandoned her. Minutes later, Emily found herself standing alone in the lobby, completely humiliated, with no money and no way to pay for her stay. And that's when she made her final, desperate move. She called me. My phone rang. Emily. I smirked, watching the screen light up. This was the moment I had been waiting for. I let it ring. Once, twice, 3 times. Then, finally, I picked up. David. Her voice was shaking. Not angry. Not demanding. Desperate. David, please. I need your help. I leaned back in my chair, enjoying the silence on my end. Oh. I said casually. That's interesting. Because last night, you didn't seem to need me at all. She inhaled sharply. Look, I messed up, okay? I should have told you about the trip. I shouldn't have used your card like that. But please, David, I'm stranded here. They're threatening to call security if I don't pay the bill. I twirled my phone between my fingers. So pay it. Silence. Then, a tiny, broken whisper. I can't. I chuckled, shaking my head. Wow. So you really don't have any money of your own, huh? David, please. She snapped, her voice rising in panic. I just need you to transfer the funds, just enough to get me out of here. Then we can talk about this like adults. I laughed outright at that. Adults? You mean like how you and your elite friends sat there and mocked me? Like how you treated me like your personal ATM? I know, okay? She shouted. Then, softer. I know. I was awful. But David, you can't just leave me here. I tilted my head. Why not? Emily stood in the middle of the resort lobby, humiliated and alone. Her so-called friends had abandoned her. The hotel manager was watching her expectantly. And Every guest in that lobby was now staring, murmuring about the woman who couldn't pay her bill. She had never felt so small. The reality hit her like a freight train. David wasn't coming to save her. David wasn't the fool she had taken him for. David was done. And for the first time in years, Emily realized she had no power over him anymore. She was still breathing heavily on the other end of the call. David, please. I don't have anyone else to call. I let the silence stretch for a long moment. Then I finally spoke. That's not my problem, Emily. And then I hung up. Emily stared at her phone, shocked. He hung up. David actually hung up. Her last lifeline? Gone. Her friends? Gone. Her money? Gone. And now the resort staff was watching her like a problem that needed to be removed. The hotel manager sighed, his patience clearly at its limit. Mrs. Carter, I'm afraid we have no choice. If payment isn't made immediately, we'll have to involve security. A wave of panic crashed over her. No, please, Emily gasped, her voice dropping to a desperate whisper. Just give me a little more time. I can fix this. The manager gave her a tight, professional smile. I'm sorry, ma'am, but rules are rules. And then, two security guards stepped forward. Her stomach dropped. Wait. Emily stammered, humiliation crashing down on her. Every eye in the lobby was on her now. The same kind of eyes she used to love. The ones that once admired her beauty, her charm, her social status. But now, they were filled with judgment, amusement, pity. Emily Carter, the high society queen, was being escorted out like a common scammer. The security guards flanked her as she grabbed her suitcase with shaking hands, walking the long, humiliating path through the grand marble lobby. People whispered. People laughed. One woman even took a picture. Her downfall was now on full display. And the worst part? She deserved it. I poured myself another cup of coffee, calm, relaxed, and completely at peace. Emily was probably freaking out right now. And honestly, I didn't care. She had played her games. She had treated me like an ATM. She had humiliated me in front of her friends. And now, for the first time ever, she was the one feeling powerless. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't bitter. I was just done. And it felt damn good. Emily did make it back home, but not the way she wanted. After begging her brother for a loan, she finally boarded a flight, alone, humiliated, and with nothing left. She arrived at our house late in the evening, expecting, I don't know, pity? Forgiveness? Another chance? What she got was a locked door and a note taped right to the front. Emily, your belongings have been sent to your brother's house. Any legal matters will go through my lawyer. There's nothing left to discuss. David. She stood there, staring at the paper, realizing finally that she had lost. Lost the life she took for granted. Lost the man she thought would always be there. Lost everything. And me? I was inside, sitting comfortably on my couch, sipping a drink, at peace for the first time in years. I heard her pound on the door. I didn't get up. I heard her crying outside. I didn't move. I had already given her too many chances. And now, finally, I was free. The divorce was fast. Emily tried to fight, but she had no leverage, no money, no reputation. She lost the house. She lost her status. And worst of all, she lost control. Meanwhile, I moved on. I focused on my kids, on my business, on myself. And one day, I met someone new. Someone who didn't see me as a wallet. Someone who didn't need power games to feel important. Someone who just loved me for me. And as I sat on my porch one evening, watching the sunset, feeling lighter than I had in years, I realized Emily had done me a favor. Because sometimes, the best thing a person can do is show you exactly who they are. So you can finally let them go. For good.